I truly believe that migrants were boated in, they were allowed to be absorbed by Germany to bring the band back to revive Nazism. You could say, well, it's all coincidental. If it's coincidental, damn, that is the most coincidental conspiracy I've ever seen in my life. If it's not a conspiracy, if it's all coincidental, I mean, it just if it's an evil plan to bring back Nazism, if it's not an evil plan to bring back Nazism, damn it, the rocks, the pieces just fell exactly where they needed to fall. And if I wanted to revive Nazism, that's exactly what I would. In fact, I'm going to go a step further than this. If I was an evil genius, which I'm not a genius. If I was an evil genius and I had tremendous power, and I wanted to revive Nazism, what would I do? What would I do? I would do exactly what the liberals do. If I was, dang it, if I wanted, let's say I'm an evil genius and I'm a Nazi, right? I have power over Germany, Europe, let's just say Central Europe, Germany, Austria. And I want to revive Nazism. What do? Am I going to sit there in front of cameras and go see Heil and do the little Roman salute and act like a LARPer and put a freaking little red band around my arm and do the little goose step? And no, because then everybody will just say, oh, that guy's a Nazi, he's crazy. Right? And the media will come and say, oh, look, he's a Nazi. Look, far right, rise of far right, Nazis, oh my God. If I wanted to revive Nazism, I would be a liberal. I would not only be a liberal, I would be a woke-ass liberal. I would be the most woke-ass liberal ever. I would be pushing for mass migration. I would be funding NGOs and nonprofit organizations to promote mass migration. I would be promoting race mixing. I would be making all the commercials have a black guy with a German white woman. I would be having videos showing a white woman dancing with a black dude or multiple black dudes dancing with multiple white chicks, and I would be disseminating those videos all throughout Twitter, all throughout X, and I would be saying, this is great, diversity is our strength. I would be bringing in people from Syria and Gaza. We gotta bring Gazan migrants. We gotta help the Gazan. We gotta help the Gazan people. Refugees are being bombed by Israel. Oh my God. I would be the wokest of the woke. We gotta have diversities for hire. We gotta make sure all the businesses have a certain number of non-white people. I would be so woke that you would think you would never even suspect me. You would never even have any suspicion at all that I am conservative in any way, right-wing in any way. I would just be hardcore, like, diversity is our strength, mix it all up, white people need to go down, bring down the white race, bring black men over, have white chicks get banged by black dudes, show videos of white chicks getting, grinding up on black dudes. I mean, just get the white man so angry and so ferocious. And I would make sure I would fund all the NGOs that have Jewish leadership. And the NGOs would be like, diversity is ours. We must have diversity. And I'd be funding all of them, putting millions of dollars or euros, in this case, into these organizations. And then the people, especially the men, would be saying, these damn woke people, these damn African people, the Africans are destroying our people, and the Jews are leading the Africans. The Jews, again, another Blues Brother reference here, the Jews are using the blacks as muscle against our people. And I would just watch the whole world burn. Oh yeah. If I was an evil genius, that's exactly what I would do. How do you revive Nazism? You don't revive Nazism by just walking around saying, oh, be a Nazi. Oh, Jews are bad. Why are Jews bad? Because they're bad. I don't know. The Fuhrer told us. Oh, F you. You're just a weirdo LARPer. You should vote for the Nazi Party. Why? Because we have cool suits and we LARP and we goose step and we do the Roman salute and we Sieg Heil. That's not a reason why people vote for such a party. You got to incentivize the shit out of people. You got to truly, truly get people's hearts into it. You really got to get people to look back in history and say, man, was our grandparents right? Was our great-grandparents right? What is going on here? And it would just goad people into it. And that's why you see the news. Oh, this party that has historical roots in Nazism is now the most elected party in this general election. Oh, this party that's basically a neo-fascist or a neo-Nazi party, it's now the third biggest party in Germany, the AfD. Oh, Sweden Democrats, a party founded by members of the SS, it's now one of the biggest parties in Sweden. Why is all this happening? Because of the phenomena of immigration that we have been seeing since 2014. So if I was an evil, evil genius, that's what I would do. And then, well, actually, I'm not sure if I would do this, but all these little parties that are like, oh my gosh, we got to bring back the Reich, they get nowhere. Why do they get nowhere? Because there is no, what's the word? There is no proper climate for them. You see, if you're a gardener, one thing that you know is that climate is everything. Atmosphere, climate, temperature, the moisture in the air, all these things are everything. You are simply the one who throws the seed in the ground and you water with a hose and you pull weeds out here and there. That's it. Everything else is climate in gardening. So you can go out, throw a seed in the ground, right? You can put all the manure in the soil, mix the soil up, cultivate it really well, get the soil nice and fluffy and brittle and warm, and water the soil. The soil's nice and moist. You put the seed in the ground. And if the atmosphere isn't right, if the climate is not conducive for the particular seed that you have sown, the plant, the seed may germinate and the plant may break through the surface, but it's not going to be a vibrant, healthy, flourishing plant. Why? Because the climate isn't there. If the climate is not there, that plant it'll survive, right? Because you'll be there watering it, watching it, pulling weeds, but it's not going to thrive as much as if it had the right climate. Now, if you have a climate where it's somewhat cloudy, you had a really good rain last night, there's moisture in the air, there's a nice breeze that's cooling everything down, there is nice layers of morning dew on the soil, and then I throw the seed in the ground. Well, then all that cow manure or chicken manure or whatever fertilizer that you're using that you laid out on the soil and you mixed in with the soil, now it's being used. Now it actually has a real effect. And so the plant is growing. Oh, it's thriving. It's not thriving because of you. It's thriving because you have put the seed in the right climate. The climate is doing most of the work for you. Most of the work is done by God, okay, when it comes to gardening, growing food. It's the same thing with human beings. If you have an ideology and you want people to believe in said ideology, you just don't go up to people and say, believe this. Why? Because, well, I don't know, because even if you're a Christian, right, and you want people to believe in Christianity, believe in Jesus. Why? I don't know. Because you'll burn in hell. I don't believe in that stuff. People have to be, what's the right way of saying it? People have to be spurred into things. They have to be spurred into things, and what spurs them is some sort of a circumstance, some sort of a situation. And that can get people to think on their own about maybe making a change in their life, maybe changing their mind about something. You cannot change someone's mind. That's impossible. You cannot change someone's mind. It's impossible. I've tried it many times. You cannot change someone's mind. You can bring a horse to the water, you can't get the horse to drink. You can take the thug from the ghetto, You can't get the ghetto out of the thug. You can take the meth dealer from the trailer park. You can't get the trailer park out of the meth dealer. Like, there's all different ways that you can. There's all sorts of slogans that you can use. So you have to create an environment for people. That's why they say that the best form of missionary work for Christians is just to be good to people. It's actually just to be nice to people. It's not just to walk up and be like, "Oh, believe in Jesus or you're going to go to hell." That doesn't work. That never works. And the only time I've ever seen someone walk up to a street preacher and say, "Could you please pray for me?" is someone who has gone through the bottom of the barrel, has gone through all sorts of shit, has hit rock bottom, and they're already thinking, "I need to go find God," and they just so happen to see you preaching on the street, and they say, "Oh God, please pray for me." But that person has already been through those circumstances. You were kind of like the gardener that threw the seed in. But just to get someone cold turkey to follow whatever it is that you believe in, that's not going to happen. It just doesn't happen. You got to create the circumstances. And you can't create them, but the circumstances have to be there. And if those circumstances that are conducive to a certain ideology are there, that ideology is going to grow and thrive and be percolated. It's the truth. Why do people go back to faith? Because there's so much misery in society. They're miserable. Maybe they're miserable because they indulge too much in some kind of vice or multiple vices. Maybe they hit rock bottom. Maybe they're just miserable. And so they need hope, and they go to God, and they go to Christianity. And if Christians were just really good to people, right, just not for a selfish reason, just for the sake of being good to people, people who are miserable will say, "What do those people have that I don't?" And then they're interested in Christianity. So it's all about the climate. That's why Jesus always used analogies from agriculture. The seed, the seed, the seed, the seed. Why? Because in order for a seed to grow, it needs a particular climate. If the climate is not there, it will not thrive. Bottom line. So let's go back to the rise of the far right. For decades, the far right in Europe was trying to make a revival for their belief. And it just wasn't working. Why? Because the climate wasn't there. Everything was going fine. Germans were fine. They weren't really worried about migrants or any of this stuff. Everything was fine. Even the large number of Turkish immigrants who had been living in Germany really weren't that bad. From what I understand, they were hard workers back in the day, decades ago. I'm sure they're still hard workers right now. But back in the day when you had all these Turkish people, who were going to Germany back in like the 1970s, 1980s, you had Turks, Greeks, and they were Nazis in Germany who hated them. But for the most part, they didn't really bother people. So 2014 comes, and it's like, bring them all in, hundreds of thousands. Not just from Syria, but from Indonesia, whatever, Afghanistan. And the Syrians, have there been Syrians who have caused problems? Of course. Majority of Syrians, from what I understand, have not been causing problems. But there have been problems from people from various parts of Africa, et cetera, et cetera. And so all of the stories about rapes and killings and robberies and this and that, this inundated the atmosphere, and it changed the climate, the metapolitical climate. Politics are always preceded by metapolitics. Metapolitics is the culture, the environment, the climate that's conducive to a certain political narrative. So the Nazis now have their climate. Now all they're doing is they're throwing seeds, and they're getting exactly what they want. Like I said, if I wanted to revive Nazism, and I was an evil genius mastermind, multi-billionaire, I would just do exactly what the left has been doing. I would just be reviving stuff. I would not be reviving, but I would just be bringing in mass migrants, mass diversity, pushing diversity, and I would get exactly what I want. And you're seeing it right there in real time. You're seeing it in real time.